It's not gonna focus. Whatever. It ain't gonna focus.
Shoot your shot, fam.
Hello.
What the hell?
Yo, whose man's is this?
All right, 3, 2, 1.
What up?
Hey, let's go ahead and bring Will on in.
Hey, just in the nick of time.
Hey,
Hey.
And we live.
And we live, baby. Yeah.
What's going on, geeks? How y'all doing tonight? We are Grown A Geeks, and why did that just change everything? That shouldn't happen, but that's the beauty of live shows. Weird stuff happens.
Yep.
And I am not going to get focused on the playback because if I do that, it will throw me off. So you know what? I really feel like Tony's in direct competition with me when it comes to all this Batman. He pulls out every video. It just more and more and more.
I got 2 more over there that I just haven't got yet.
You know what? It's cool. You don't even have to. But we appreciate you all tuning in with us. We have a lot of discussions ourselves in our little admin chat. And, we talk about the different things we are going to discuss, what we're going to talk about, what's good, what's bad, what needs to be discussed, etc. And Will brought to our attention a top 25 list created by IGN that just hurt my feelings.
It hurt everybody's feelings.
That's the whole sentence right there. We could just stop right there.
All right, great show. Thanks, everybody.
All right, guys.
It was like, I don't know who they got to make this list. I don't know what they were talking about. For those of you who, of course, are familiar with this, you can, we've got, let me close this real quick because that doesn't need to be there. Nope.
It's funny that you say that because they didn't know what they were talking about.
I hope nobody paid for that.
There we go. So you can scan the QR code down in the corner. Odds are, if you're seeing this, you're probably already a group member, in which case, you know where to find all the content. But we have, Will posted a link earlier for IGN's top 25 comic book movies, and they had a very, very interesting list.
That's putting it nicely.
No, they had an asinine list. Say it right.
Yes. Their list was garbage. I like IGN. I do. I'm familiar with a lot of their content. I like their game reviews. I try to be a part of a lot of different stuff that they show, but I just couldn't get down with this one. And I really need to know who wrote this one, because David brought up a good point that, perhaps maybe it wasn't as much a collaborative effort as it was more just, one person who decided to give their thoughts.
Yeah, see, I'm looking at it right now. It's by the IGN Entertainment staff. So this was a group.
In other words,
to fire their whole staff and start.
No. In other words, they're the interns.
Wow.
But you know what? I feel
interns
like
the
interns might have been a little bit more honest and put good movies on the list and not just the popular titles that they thought. If nothing else, I needed them to give me their criteria, what they were ranking, how they came up with this list, what was the determination to say, this is why I chose this, this is why that. Because as it stands right now, like, oof.
Well, let's just hop into it. How about that?
Let's do
sure
that.
You want to do that?
So first, just to help everybody out and save you a little bit of time, I'm just going to do like a quick rundown. And I'm not going to go through all 25. You can find the link. We're going to start where they started, or where I would almost say where they really messed up. But let's just look at their top 10. And their top 10 greatest superhero movies, they have Thor Ragnarok at 10. They have Batman Begins at number 9. The Avengers at number 8.
Okay.
Infinity War is number 7.
Okay.
The original Superman 1978 is number 6. Avengers Endgame is number 5. Captain America Winter Soldier is number 4. Logan comes in at number 3. Into the Spider-Verse is number 2, and the number 1 IGN pick of the greatest comic book movie is The Dark Knight. Let me just open with saying, Christopher Nolan is an amazing director. Can we please get off his jock?
Putting it mildly to start.
put a condom on if you're gonna ride in that hard.
I mean, it's
You better double up because one might bust. I'm just saying.
here's the thing. Memento is a fantastic movie, no question. If you haven't seen Following, check it out. And then you have the Christopher Nolan trilogy, Dark Knight, Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and
Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises. I almost said Dark Knight Returns,
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, it's not even that memorable.
Right, like it's almost forgettable. It's really not the best one out there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Batman got laid.
Ah, yes, Batman.
but you know what? If you go back, Michael Keaton, he was good because he had Vicky Vale, and then right after that he had Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, so Selena Kyle. So Batman wasn't slacking at all. Like it wasn't an issue. But I don't know, man. Like we were discussing this a moment ago, and the very first thing that came to mind, and for those of you who get in your feelings about what I'm about to say, it is what it is. If we didn't have Heath Ledger in this movie, people would not say this was the best comic book movie.
That's facts.
At all. I agree with that.
That's
And
facts.
I'm a big fan, but Heath
Love
made
the
that
movie, but he is the movie.
Yeah, he carried that movie.
And honestly, like given that it's part of a trilogy, neither of the other two movies were as good, and they had a lot they could have done. Using Bane, they could have gone all the way through Nightfall. And just that story by itself. They did a short version of Nightfall. They did a really short version of Nightfall. And for that reason, it doesn't quite hold up like it could in comparison. But if you were to have even if you had just a little bit less out of Heath Ledger, that movie would not be top 10. It wouldn't be top 10.
I'd settle for top 15, but top 10 would be pushing.
So the fact that it made it up to number 1.
Even without Heath Ledger, IGN would have probably had it at 1.
I mean, it's got Christopher Nolan's name on it, so they're gonna put it up high. But I can't rock with that. It goes without saying that I definitely think it falls short to Into the Spider-Verse, which came in at number 2. I did not mind so much their pick for Logan as number 3. Maybe I would move that one to number 2. I don't know how I feel about Winter Soldier being number 3, though.
So here's how I feel about that. And I don't know how everybody else feels about this. I feel like out of the how many movies are in the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now?
Tons.
22?
21, 22.
It's 21, 22, somewhere in that area.
I feel like Winter Soldier's bottom 5.
You
Really?
said Winter Soldier's
Strong
bottom 5?
statement.
I feel like Winter Soldier's bottom 5.
Oof.
I
I'm going to
wouldn't
hear you
go-
out on this, though. What do you
Wait,
got?
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I need you to back that one up. So I'm waiting. Give me that.
I don't know. It's just it's personally to me. I'm not a big fan of how they played up. And this just goes in the whole cinematic universe. I'm not really a big fan of how much of a. I'm not a fan of how much they played up Cap and Steve and Bucky's relationship in the whole cinematic universe for it to kind of just not matter that much in like the penultimate movies.
I got you. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I feel like this is just kind of like where it kind of just started going off the rails for me. That's why I put it down there. Like the movie itself is fine. I don't care. Like the movie, like if it was just the movie itself, I would have been fine with it being like somewhere in this 25. But because of the seeds that have been sown in this movie, I feel like it's just it doesn't really do it for me as far as like the whole
Now,
cinematic universe.
I'm wondering, based on that statement, I'm wondering if you might be confusing Winter Soldier with Civil War.
No, I don't think he is.
No.
Okay.
I don't think he is. I'm gonna bring up a point with that because you see how much they played up that relationship, and that's why when it came down to Cap giving the shield to Falcon, they should have built up the relationship between Captain America and Falcon
Exactly.
so much more, and that moment would have made more sense. It would have felt more real, as opposed to you build up that stuff with Bucky, and then it's like, here you go.
Right. So it's the whole encompassing thing. It's like there's so many strings that lead up to Endgame, and this was one of those strings that they were weaving, and then they just kind of cut it real short right at the end for something that just made no sense whatsoever.
So if they changed the shield over to Bucky, it would have been a much better film for you.
Yes.
But the problem with that is, I don't think Cap could have gave Bucky the shield just because Bucky was still dealing with
what he did.
His brain
that's the point, though. That's
Bucky
the point.
has not
Like,
had his redemption arc.
they should have built up
Right.
Sam's relationship with Cap and stuff like that,
Right.
and showed that
Right.
they had those good bonds and stuff like that, and then would have made sense for Falcon to take it. And then when you get to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you could have gave Bucky some time there to get. He's not going to get a full redemption because of the stuff that he did, but you let him kind of redeem himself to a certain degree, to where they can play off each other. And we know that Bucky knows how to use the shield in tandem with Cap. Sam and Bucky can develop that same kind of momentum and stuff like that, and it can kind of carry on from there.
So if we would have had a Bucky movie, Winter Soldier movie, in between these somewhere,
I feel like
that would have made a difference.
That would have made a difference for me. Like I said, this is just all. This is just opinion. By the way,
you bring a valid point because that is something that I would not have. I'm a Cap fan, and so of course, I feel like when we saw the fight that took place in Civil War, where Bucky was just as capable with the shield as Cap, that gave the opportunity to say like, oh, he's gonna do it. But I can certainly agree and see your point to say that since he has not had his redemption arc yet, you know what I'm saying? He goes right into Wakanda, goes back on ice for a little bit, trying to be deprogrammed. They really just thawed him out so he could be a part of this big war they're getting ready to have. We don't know that the deprogramming has taken place.
Right.
And so you can't
if they gave me a little bit more context with that. Yeah, if they gave me a little bit more context with that, and it would make a lot more sense thematically for me. And that's just like that's my whole issue with Winter Soldier. Just thematically right now it just does not make sense.
Now
the way that it ends, like the whole thing that ends.
I think one of the parts of the movie that they've really tried to do with Cap is, of course, they've gone through this bit with Cap showing that he's a fish out of water. He's steadfast in who he is, and stubborn to a degree. When we look at his, I'm not going to say his relationship with Bucky because you definitely clarified the issues that they've done cinematically with that, and I will concede that point. It's not something I thought about, but given that he's this fish out of water, everything that Cap knows, everybody that he's associated with, everything in his world is gone.
Right.
Except Bucky.
Right.
And so, in a sense, it's Captain America's downfall that he is clinging on to this one relationship that he still has.
Yeah. I mean, I'll concede to that. That's.
And I think that's why they have that, because he's gotten hip to the modern times. He's learning new things. He's adjusting. He's figuring out what he needs to know. And Sam Wilson is there to make sure that he can make that transition. And I think that's where the relationship with Sam comes in. And it shows that Sam is on equal footing because he's the now. Whereas Bucky is the then. When Cap wasn't Cap, when he was just Steve Rogers and he was scrawny and he was, stuffing newspaper in his boots, Bucky was there. And now, all these years later, Bucky's back. And that's the only tie he has to his old life. And that's why it's so hard for him to give up. So I certainly agree and see where the difficulty comes in thematically, as you pointed out. But I think that's the only reason they can justify that. Now, there's a deleted scene in Civil War where,
well, hey, let's not get it. I didn't mean to make this a whole thing. Let's get back to the list.
We jumped
okay,
on.
So
yeah, we already did it.
Okay,
we got called out for
right,
it. Back to the list.
Check out some of the deleted scenes. There's Bucky with the shield, and then it's pretty cool. So check that out. I feel like somebody posted that. I'll find it and post it.
Let's get back to the list. So let's look at this.
Okay, Lawrence actually pointed something out, and this kind of stands out, and I didn't see this just now, but he's asking, is the list just Marvel DC? Because Kingsman and Sin City are definitely top 5 comic book movies.
It says superhero movies.
Yeah.
IGN specified superhero. I looked that up.
Right.
So it is the top 25 best superhero movies. So it's not just
So you could have
comic
took
book
off those 2 X-Men travesties.
Already?
Here we go.
Keep going with the list.
Go.
Before we get
That
Polka
is-
Dot Man going.
That polka dot.
Well, he hadn't
man.
had his movie yet. That's coming.
He had it.
So
He
we'll
gonna have
see
his
how
5
that
minutes.
falls and how that plays out later.
You could have took off First Class and X2. Really? That was good? See,
Well, X2
somebody
is
was
the best
smoking
of that
meth.
series.
X2 was somebody's favorite movie. Okay,
It's
look.
somebody's, but it's superhero
Some
movies.
fired intern.
they probably live in Arkham.
They could, but
Heck
yeah.
no, you can't tell me X2 was anybody's favorite movie ever.
Somebody
Anybody.
maybe, I don't know.
Somebody out there likes X2.
Not-
What you about to say, Will? What you about to say?
But no, the list is more than just Marvel, DC, and stuff like that. You've got other movies that didn't make, that are in the top 25 on their lists of like Unbreakable, V for Vendetta, and Dread.
V.
So there's other stuff being taken into consideration, but the meat and potatoes, of course, is going to be Marvel and DC. Since
Yeah.
they've been
And it
disbanded.
also does specify, and I think the reason something like Kingsman doesn't end up there is because I don't know that Kingsmen are necessarily considered superheroes. They're definitely
not.
spies, and those
Super
make
badasses. But
those make for great movies,
But-
but they are not considered superheroes.
You know what should have made this list instead of those 2 Marvel X-Men garbage ass movies?
Somebody is upset.
You have a lot of things to say. We haven't even gotten to that
Just
part
say
where we
X-Men movies.
dissect the
Don't-
list
don't-
yet.
Don't put Marvel in this.
I'm
Fox
sorry.
ran with that on their own.
I'm sorry, but it's just okay. You could have put Crow on here instead of any one of them X-Men movies. Any one of them. Crow
Yeah.
should have been on here.
Yeah,
But see, it's one of those movies. It's that old, it's the older movie, and people like, we don't do that. No, damn that. You put X2 on here. Jesus,
You really hated X2.
He does not like X2.
I can roll
What's moving
back
out on the list still?
some of the other things that really kind of stand out as far as the list being out of place is like Wonder Woman is number 22 on the list. Wonder
Right.
Woman didn't even make top 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's because she's a woman.
It should be up there because
I
even
didn't
with
say
this
that.
These top superhero movies, they should be more than just highest grossing and stuff like that. Like these
Right.
should be the pivotal movies that change the way we look at cinema and stuff like that. It should be, bringing, a big character that, that needs to be brought to the big, like Wonder Woman's been needing to be brought to the big screen for years. And when it was done with a bang. So yeah,
What's
she
up?
deserves, to be up there because that's a big thing for a lot of people and for a lot of young women and stuff like that. Just like when Black Panther was brought to the screen, so that's a big thing for a lot of black people and stuff like that to be
And
able
for
to
Black Panther to be at
represent.
15, also another one that easily could have found its way
That
as a
don't
top
make no
five.
sense.
No,
to me.
that's
That
top
makes
5. It
absolutely
doesn't
no
matter
sense to me.
who you are. That should be top 5.
Yeah, like that should easily be a top 5, and for that to be number 15, being outranked by The Incredibles, no less.
The Incredibles.
Well,
No,
It's a
not
good
saying
movie, but it's
Incredibles
not
isn't
better than Black
good.
Panther.
I'm not saying it's.
oh,
I'm not saying it's bad.
wait.
I'm not saying it's better than Black Panther.
Okay, so which movie is better, Black Panther or Spider-Man 2?
Oh, Spider-Man.
Black
2's on there,
Panther?
isn't it?
Really?
Number
Why is that a
11.
question?
It's number 11.
No, it's
Yeah, that's
not
what
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
2. So like that Batman
Those were
Begins
mistakes.
should not be
also.
ahead of either of those as far as I'm concerned.
Same.
It's there. It's number 9. So it was like, why?
Now, I think Thor Ragnarok coming in at number 10 is probably a good place for Thor Ragnarok because the first Thor was okay. The second one was kind of bumpy.
No,
Thor
I can't-
Ragnarok,
The second one was bad.
the second one was garbage.
I'll give Thor Ragnarok should have been at least top 15 and stuff like that because of all the characters and stuff like that. He had a good arc. He showed growth throughout his movies and stuff like that.
So-
I can go with that.
So-
I'm okay with.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm fine where he's at. 10 is not. Whatever,
and I agree with
but-
that. I think 10 is a good spot. I think that was an opportunity for him to redeem himself. That movie did a good job redeeming that story, and it was a nice
Right.
little bow on top.
Did y'all notice that X2
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
No.
is ranked higher than Deadpool?
Travesty.
No, wait, hold on. Let me look at this list again. You were crazy. Like, get out of
No,
here.
he's right. That's the crappy
Deadpool was
part.
down there at like number.
That's cap.
It was like 17. I'm like,
That's
19,
cap.
Yes, and Deadpool is at 19, down with
That's cap.
19? No.
which is only 2 spots ahead of X-Men First Class. Somebody stop.
They thought about putting Days. I was reading the comments. They thought about Days of Future Past barely missed the cut to make the top 25.
What?
That's
What?
cap.
Fire
That's
the
cap.
list.
That's
Fire the list
cap.
make
Look,
it.
I
I
would
mean,
like
read the
Days of
comments.
Future
There's like
Past.
Top to
60
bottom.
people.
Fire.
6 of the staff members are commenting in the comments.
I
Of
would
the
probably
IGN
go with
page.
Days of Future Past over First Class, but both of those need to be
Should
at
be
the
at the
bottom of
bottom.
the list,
And they both should be behind Crow. I don't care.
without a doubt. And you know one movie that did not make the cut, and it's probably because it's an older movie. It doesn't really, like I would like to see them go back and redo this movie, and I would like to bring back the original actor because I think he deserves a fair shot. Spawn didn't make the list at all,
That movie was bad though.
and for the
was
time,
bad.
with John Leguizamo, killed it in his role.
It don't matter. That movie was bad.
But in terms of like, okay,
X2
we
was
have
better
Blade
than
on
that
the
movie.
list.
Oof.
I mean, was he really considered a superhero at that time?
I would say yes.
What?
That the premise of the movie. In the premise of the movie, he was just more or less on a path for revenge. So I don't know if that's a factor, if that's played into it and stuff like that. As for the character, yes, I understand the character and stuff like that, but they kind of went left field with it, which is why I didn't care for the movie. Like it was like when I was a kid and I watched it, it was like, oh shit, this is cool. You got chains and
Well, I
shit.
mean, the
flying everywhere
HBO
with that,
series
but-
did a much better job of clarifying his
Clarifying
role as
what he's supposed to be.
as a hero, anti-hero, whatever. The movie was kind of a one and done situation. So,
Movie should have never been done.
well,
That's
again,
bit
I would
much.
like to see them go back and redo the movie, and I would like to bring in Michael Jai White to reprise the role. I think he would do fantastic a second time.
If we're
these
talking
have been
about characters that need to come back, we need Ron Perlman back as Hellboy. How did
Yes.
that not make the list?
Hellboy didn't make the list, but X2 did. Above Blade.
Let it go.
He's not. He's not
Let
gonna
it go.
Now, I
You
do
are
think
fixed on that
Blade
one
could
point.
have been a little higher than 23.
Blade should have been a higher because it set the freaking standard
Yeah.
for a lot of
It
freaking
did.
movies. Like we would not have superhero movies the way we are today. Like granted, like I love Iron Man started the MCU, freaking fantastic, stuff like that.
But we
I
may
love
not have
Iron Man,
gotten
you know that.
Iron Man.
Blade should have been above Iron Man, wherever Iron Man was placed with that.
And
For the simple
X2.
fact that and X2. For the
Thank
simple
you.
fact is that freaking started the ball rolling and stuff like that. That's when you start to see the superhero movies and stuff really start to take shape, and then that's when
And
everybody's
honestly,
like,
that's
okay,
where they
let's
started to
do
be
it.
good because I remember like Punisher with Dolph Lundgren. You know what I'm saying? And it can be argued whether or not that's considered superhero, but at the time that was like about the only type of movie we had. We had like the original Batman, we had the Superman
Original
movie,
Superman.
you know what I'm saying? And I think by that time we had like one or two Superman movies. But Punisher just being someone that you saw from a comic book who could do things that other people couldn't seem to do, that was kind of what made him stand out. And yeah, it was Blade that came through
Wait a minute.
and really like set the tone and set the bar and did good. Was a good movie. Told a good story, had a great character.
Wait a
And I
No, no,
definitely
no.
think Blade should be much higher just in terms of like setting the bar. And the fact that they even have some of the animated movies on here, they apparently
Hold
have
on.
not seen
Wait.
DC's list
No.
of animated movies. They picked one, Mask of the Phantasm, so I'm gonna give Tony that one because that is one of his picks. One of his
First of
personal
all,
picks.
First of all, this movie is now null and void. I don't care about nothing on this list anymore. I can't believe that unless I missed it. Did y'all not see what's not on this list that should be on this list that is arguably one of the greatest superhero movies? I want you to look at it close.
Here we go.
I've studied it. Which one am I missing?
What's missing? What's missing?
Say it.
It's a superhero team. What's
Just
missing?
say it. Just say it.
HBO just had a series on it.
Just say it.
It's
Spit
Watchmen.
it out.
Where's Watchmen? Where's Watchmen?
Yeah, the fact that Watchmen didn't make the list at all does.
And you
kinda
talking about
make
Future
this list
Past was
questionable.
on the cut? Man.
Yo,
Really hate what they did to your
Hey,
accent.
Tony,
They even
tight,
made-
boy.
It's personal.
They even made a case for the old movie. You remember the old movie with the purple suit, Phantom?
Right. What is that garbage? Look, man.
They made a case like that.
I don't know what corner y'all went to if y'all got that good kush, but stop smoking before y'all write articles, please. Watchmen, not nowhere in discussion. Somebody should have swallowed y'all because y'all ain't right.
And the fact that they went with V for Vendetta because it was Alan Moore. You know what I'm saying? But even then, like I would argue that, yeah, that's definitely an oversight because it hits all the criteria. in
Watchmen's
that it's
top five.
superhero, it's comic book, and it's a fantastic movie. So, and honestly, probably to date one of the best adaptations of a comic book movie. So,
But y'all got X2 at 17. This makes people drink.
I don't know. I
I mean, is it
think
easy to get a job here? Because I could write for them. Seriously, in my spare time.
No, I've tried for like 3 years.
Wait, they didn't hire you, but they put out this? Okay.
Well, I mean, if nothing else, this seems like one of the types of things. If we were to, I don't know, we may need to make it a point to create a list and go down the line and come up with a better top 25. And maybe if nothing else, if we just start with like a actual criteria, because I think that's one of the biggest issues. I did not see in reading the article where they determined what was going to be the qualifiers. Like, these are the things that we're
It
based
said nothing about it in the article.
They were
It's
just
a
like,
random list.
superhero? Come on now.
Somebody Googled and copied the freaking list and just threw their favorites in between. Like, I don't know.
Somebody asked their grandmama on the phone, FaceTime, what movie do you like? That's what happened. That's all that happened.
yeah.
This can't be right. See, now I got something to harp about because Watchmen is not on the list.
Hellboy didn't make the cut.
Who?
Hellboy. Ron
What
Perlman.
Two movies right there. You could take them garbage ass X-Men movies off easily.
And he didn't even count your Crow.
I mean,
It's funny because
there's several animated movies of DC that
That are better than half the movies on
so
this
it's
list.
like there's no no solid, foundation on this list.
I mean, no Flashpoint Paradox, really?
You know that's my
Really?
top pick right there. Like, how
That's
do
what
you
I'm
not have
saying.
Flashpoint if you're including animated? And honorable mention because Under the Red Hood I think could have made the list. It
But it
could be
didn't
after
because
Batman.
Phantasm
It could
did.
be after Mask of the Phantasm, but
Phantasm made it.
Mask
Player,
of the
you know who
Phantasm
I'm
made the
talking
cut.
to. You know who I'm talking to. Player.
So we'll give him that one. He definitely pulled that. I don't know. It's a very interesting list, and the only thing that they
No,
offered,
it's not.
IGN does actually say in their article, the rule change allowing original characters created for a movie brings Unbreakable and The Incredibles into the top 25. V himself also sneaks onto the list with V from Vendetta. As for what has been cut from the 2018 list, the original Hellboy, Watchmen, Kick-Ass, The Crow, Spider-Man Homecoming, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Kingsman, Secret Service, and Captain America Civil War are all out. It does not, like, apparently they did this list in 2018 and they are kind of revising this list. So at different times, it sounds like The Crow did make the list, but they pulled it for other movies, in fact, to make it in. My
They
problem
pulled it
with
for
that,
other
though, is
movies
V
that
for
have no
Vendetta.
standing.
First of all,
I don't see how
I
V for
could-
Vendetta is as high as it is based on that.
first of all, let's talk about X2 being at 17.
Let it go.
Move on. Damn it, Tony.
You could have put.
freaking
Let
Elsa
me
on
tell
the
you,
damn list for him to let it go. I mean, shit.
you could have put Kick-Ass could have been on this, but Mark didn't.
Man,
Yeah.
my guy is tight. He is tight.
Okay, so it's
Look,
Very
official.
upset.
Look,
It's
look,
official.
I grew
Like,
up
you all get on to
Marvel.
me, but like,
I
Tony,
grew up on X-Men. That's what I grew up on. I switched to DC later, but I grew up on X-Men. So when they had the opportunity to bring them to the screen, I was so happy. I was one of the few times I went opening day to see X-Men. I have never been so pissed in my life when I got done with that movie. I wanted to fight
Starting to understand
everybody.
that.
I wanted to fight the people who sold me popcorn. I wanted to find the girl who sold me the ticket and just cuss her out just because. Why would you let me walk into this garbage of a movie? And it got no better with time. They kept trying and they kept failing. It's like the people who like Fantastic Four. I feel your pain. The shit was garbage.
Fantastic
Oh my
Four was
God.
worse.
Wait a minute.
You get it
No.
out. You good now?
Good.
You know, if I did smoke, this is the time I'd go out on the balcony, but I don't, so I just gotta sit here.
Okay. So we're not gonna talk about any more of that movie. I try not to even say it, so you're not triggered anymore.
The one that shall not be named.
We're gonna talk about that Voldemort movie.
Right.
Oh, of course you say his name.
But there's other things. The original Batman made number 18. Should it be higher? Should it be lower?
And then, you know what was 17?
Fucking Christ.
Are you gonna let it go? Otherwise, I'm muting.
All right.
I'm gonna let you go.
all ranting aside, I don't agree with it being as low as it is on this list. I
Yeah.
would probably move it up. Well, so I would probably shift like everything from 14 down, excluding the one that shall not be named. I would shift those up 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna reorder the whole list. I'm gonna just reorder the whole list basically off of what it is with that, and then I'm gonna go through and make cuts, and then start replacing because
You know what?
It upsets me.
I think that's what we need to do. We need to take the list.
And redo the whole damn
And
thing.
fix it.
Everybody make their own list, and then we get together, and that's how we'll determine what was 1 through 25. Whoever, so I think that will work.
It'd have to be like a 5-part series because we do 5 videos at a time based on the 5 people or how many
No,
people
everybody
call available.
Everybody make their list. We'll put all the lists together, and we'll
That
take
sound
the
like
average
homework.
ranking. I got kids to do homework.
We got homeschool going on, so it's
So
Okay,
that's nothing
I'll
for
make
us.
it happen. I get my list together.
No, you have to take this list. Don't make your
Okay.
own list. Take this list, reorder it the way you want it. And then we'll get together, put all our lists together.
Yeah, we'll do that offline. We'll get
Yeah,
everything
we'll do
together
that.
and then present it.
I'm
the
good
one-
with that. I would do that. I
And-
would take these 25 movies and I will reorder that.
Right. Don't add anything. Don't take off anything.
All right.
All right.
One of our comments was we had a good comment from Lawrence, by the way.
Mhm.
Judge
As
As
Dredd.
usual.
Does Judge Dredd qualify as a superhero?
That is a good question.
I think in his mind,
He
he
is.
thinks he is. But if we judge him by the
No,
standards
he says he's
of
the
even
law. He thinks he's the
Right.
law.
that's right. But if we
am
judge
the
him
law.
even
Wait,
by
I'm
the
Stallone.
anti-heroes or the vigilantes like Batman or Punisher, if you just want to judge him by that, he's a little bit worse than a Punisher. He does a lot of things.
Okay,
So could-
I will say that he is worse than the Punisher because he's a judge, and judges they can execute sentence
It's like
right there.
it's no wiggle room with him at all. None. Not
All right, guys.
one iota.
I gotta hop out. Y'all have a good one. Finish up strong and all that.
All right, man.
I
All
appreciate
right,
it.
D.
Pete the gag. All right.
Now,
So yeah,
even so though, it's still kind of like, and I get the anti-hero part of it, but given that they made the list and they called the list superheroes and that was the criteria that they used, I almost feel like they broke their own rules, given that though he has a cool costume, he doesn't really have any superpowers. Now, same argument could be made for Batman, but I think if you try to compare Batman to Judge Dredd, I need to see Judge Dredd go up against some of the intergalactic threats that we've seen Batman go up against, which is how Batman gets elevated to superhero status, despite
Well-
just being a man.
and on top of that, you can take Batman's actions and say he does superhero actions. You can't say the same for Dredd. You can't say what he does is in the image of being a superhero. Batman at least tries to stay within a certain criteria.
He's got a certain morality that he keeps.
Right. Even though back in the day he did use guns, he did, technically he didn't save people, so he killed. All that got washed under the bridge. So he did have that little point in time. But with Judge Dredd, it's always been, if you're guilty, the punishment is death. I'm going to kill you. You have no choice. So his actions can't be considered in the same lane as the anti-hero / vigilante type characters.
Right. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. I think that in and of itself will hold a little weight as we make the list. So that is the assignment. That is what we're going to do. And I would even say it might not be a bad idea to we should make that, we should just open that up to the group. It's alive. People watch this and they want to do it. We can make it a link, or we take the link, we post it, maybe tag it, and then we ask everyone to just reorder the list themselves. We'll do it and we'll put out the gag official, but anybody that's up to hop on and give us their list, their 25 in order, I would say, yeah, that would be the way to go. Let them do it as well. So we will fix IGN's list, and who knows, maybe we can submit that and we can get Tony a job over at IGN.
They don't want that. They can't handle the truth. They can't do the truth.
If nothing else, David's applied, so we'll submit this with David's name after we fix the list.
I wouldn't mind David getting there because I'm good at some stuff, but David has way more expertise in a lot of areas. Anime, I don't have to play. Gaming, that's all David.
I mean, especially like the stuff IGN covers, but IGN
Right.
they cover other stuff too. So I mean, it could work. We can make it happen. But you know what? As soon as Gag Network gets there, we'll have our own, and we'll be calling IGN, talking trash about the article they put out, and we'll fix their article. So this will be the first time we do that.
Oh my God, I'm still mad. All right, I can't be mad no more.
So that's that. Yeah, we. You know what? I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. It's kind of a spur of the moment thing. We decided we wanted to discuss this because it was such an interesting article and we were going back and forth. And I'm gonna just let you all know we saved you all a good 30-minute discussion about Logan by itself. Maybe another day. Maybe another day. But Tony and I, we kind of had some discussion there about Logan, and
And I said everything I said was right.
I'm not disagreeing with anything you said. I just feel like everything you said had an explanation. But we're not going to do that now because it'd be very easy, and y'all know I like to talk. So, we
Oh,
thank everybody
really?
for tuning in. We do ask, because this video, of course, will make it over to the YouTube channel. So when you find the video there, we ask that you like, subscribe, and make sure to click that bell, that notification, so that whenever we load up a video, you will get it. In addition to that inaugural video, I want to give a quick shout out to, when I do this, just nod your heads because that's where you are for me. We got Brent right here. We got Tony down here. They are actually going to they recorded our first episode of Gag on These Balls, our sports talk. They have their own sports podcast and they're running that. They're spearheading that, and I want to thank them for taking the time out of their day to put that together. So once that video is up and loaded, make sure you check that out. So if you got any questions about the sports ball, you can talk with them about it, and they'll have some pretty good discussions. I think they cover a wide variety of topics, good 45 minutes to an hour of stuff. So a lot of great
The
content
video is
there.
posted now.
It
And-
It
just
is
posted.
up and published, and it's good to go. We talked about the upcoming NFL season and the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman.
There you go. Hey, Will, Lawrence just actually took our statement and remember our news article, Gag on it? That'll be our counter articles to what other people put out.
Very well.
I like that.
That's
You know
brilliant.
what? Thank you, Lawrence. I like that. That sounds real good. So when we see a trash article, we'll come back and that could actually be our Gag on it video from now on. That'll be the title of those videos. When we
Like
see
that.
something that's just not good, we got to come back and correct it, and that's how we'll do it. So that works. But again, we want to thank you all for tuning in with us tonight. You know where to find us. We're on Facebook. You can click the QR code in the corner. There's a YouTube channel, so make sure to check us out there. And we will see you online. We appreciate it. And you all you see I'm stalling right here, but you all have a great night. Thanks. See ya.